Whenever you chat with an AI, it kind of feels like magic, right? You type something and you get this incredible response. Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to talk about the secret language, the hidden engine that powers literally every single AI interaction you've ever had. So here's the big question, the mystery we're diving into. An AI doesn't actually read words like you and I do. I mean, not at all. So how in the world does it understand what you're asking? How does it figure out your meaning, answer complex questions, or even, write a poem? Let's get into it. To really get inside how an AI thinks, first we have to learn its native language. And it's a language made of these tiny, fundamental pieces that translate our messy human world into something a machine can finally compute. And the key to that secret language is one single concept, the token. So what is it? A token is simply the most basic unit of text an AI can process. The best way to think about them is like atoms or Lego bricks. They're the smallest individual pieces the machine actually sees, and it builds everything, and I mean everything, from them. Okay, so let's really dive into this. How exactly does our language get shattered into these little machine-readable atoms? Because it's not as simple as one word equals one token. Oh no, it's actually way more interesting than that. All right, check this out. Take a common word like unbelievable. For us, that's just one thing, right? But for an AI, it's a completely different story. It sees three separate pieces, three tokens, un, believe, and able. This whole process is called subword splitting, and it's actually a really clever trick. It's how the model can understand new or rare words. It just breaks them down into smaller parts that it's seen before. So this all happens through a process we call tokenization. First, your sentence gets a rough split by spaces and punctuation. Then any complex or uncommon words get broken down into those smaller known subwords we just saw. And finally, and this part is absolutely crucial, each of those little pieces is converted into a unique number from a massive vocabulary list, because at the end of the day, that's all computers understand, numbers. So now the AI has turned our words into this long sequence of numbers. But how does that become a coherent thought or a genuinely useful answer? Well, this is where the magic starts to look a lot more like some serious mechanics. It's really a three-step journey. First, each token's number gets turned into something called an embedding, which is just a fancy term for a rich list of numbers, a vector that represents its meaning. Next, the transformer network uses this powerful mechanism called self-attention to analyze how every single token relates to every other token in your prompt. And finally, the model just predicts the most statistically likely next token, adds it to the sequence, and does it all over again, one token at a time, until your answer's complete. Okay, theory's down. We get it. But why should any of this matter to you when you're just trying to use the thing? Well, these tiny little tokens have a very real impact on your wallet and your wait time. Every single token has a price. Let's just look at a popular model like Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Sending your prompt, the input tokens, costs money. We're talking $3 for every 1 million tokens you send to the model. That's just the cost of asking the question. But hold on, because this is where it gets really expensive. Getting the answer back from the AI? Yeah, that's a whole different price tag. The tokens the AI generates for you, the output, that'll cost you $15 a million on the same model. That is 5 times more expensive. And the reason is pretty simple, actually. It takes a ton more computational horsepower to generate a brand new coherent response than it does to just read what you sent it. And if you look across the landscape, you see this pattern everywhere. OpenAI, Google, Anthropic. Output always costs way more than input. And just look at the huge range here. A super powerful model like Claude 3 Opus can run you $75 for 1 million output tokens. This right here is the real economy of AI, and it's all priced in tokens. Tokens also define a model's limits. See, every AI has what's called a context window. It's the maximum number of tokens it can handle at one time. Just think of it like the AI's short-term memory. If your conversation or the document you're working on gets bigger than this limit, the AI starts to forget what happened at the beginning. That's exactly why chatbots sometimes lose track of what you were talking about. And it's not just about cost or memory, it's also about speed. It's simple, really. More tokens means more work for the computer, and that directly leads to slower response times. So if you're looking for faster results, you gotta think about managing your token count. All right, so we've covered what tokens are, why they matter for cost, why they matter for speed, but now let's get into the really fascinating part, the deep structural flaws that this whole token-based system creates. And it leads to some truly surprising blind spots. This quote really gets to the heart of the problem. Because an AI can only see the world through its predefined list of tokens, its ability to reason is basically trapped by how those tokens are built. The seams between tokens create these boundaries that the AI just cannot see across. Okay, this next part is seriously going to blow your mind. It's a perfect example of this problem in action. If you ask a really powerful AI to do something simple, like reverse the word elephant, it'll probably fail. It'll just spit out gibberish. So why? Well, it's because to the AI, the word elephant might be just one single unbreakable token. It literally cannot see the letters inside of it. But, and here's the crazy part, if you spell it out with spaces, like ELEPHNT, forcing each letter to be its own token, then it can reverse it perfectly. See, the AI isn't actually reasoning about letters, it's just shuffling a list of tokens. Now, this system also creates a major economic issue for users all over the world. See, most AI models are trained on mountains of English text, so their tokenizers are super efficient for English. But for other languages, the exact same idea can require way more tokens. This is what people call the token tax. It basically means using AI can be more expensive and slower for non-English speakers, building a structural disadvantage right into the system itself. So we're left with a final, pretty provocative thought. Tokens are the fundamental, yet flawed, building blocks that make all of modern AI possible. They are the source of its power, and at the same time, its most profound limitations. Which really makes you wonder, what new capabilities, what new kinds of intelligence might be unlocked by the token-free models of the future? But that is a question for another explainer.